You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show.
Hello, welcome back to another after show for Castle, and this was an amazing one, so thank you for joining us here at AFTERBUZZ TV. This week's episode was titled Disciple. It's season 6, episode 9, and it was crazy.
Sorry, I just got the title.
Come on, you just watched the whole episode and you just get it?
Well, when the episode started, Kate and I looked at each other and were like, we can figure something out about the episode based on the title of the episode.
And we're like, so
and
what's this one gonna be about?
And then you said it, and then it clicked in my head. I was like,
We're on it. We are on it.
They've got it. Well, you've met my lovely co-hosts, Tiona and Kate, and I am Paige Sullivan. We are back for another episode, and this one, we're just getting it here, even though we've watched it.
We got it, okay?
They've got it. This was crazy. This episode was the best of the season so
It was
far.
creepy. I was scared at certain points.
like the dead eyes with the blue eyes.
yeah.
Is that what dead people really
I don't think
look
that's.
like?
I think that was like a.
And because it was Lanie and Espo's kind of look-alike, it made it even worse, which we'll get to, but it was creepy.
I was also really grossed out by the fact that, like, you know how they have that board of the pictures of the victims, how they put that picture up of Daniel, and his face was all like, and it was like him hanging, like the picture.
Yeah, like, everyone's like talking in front of the board, and then there's just this picture of like Espo's look-alike, like dead, like over their shoulder, and I'm just like, can we move so we don't have to look at that
Every
picture?
single shot, that picture was there.
There's always morbid and gross things that happen on this show, but for some reason that picture, I was like,
it was bad.
But this whole thing starts off with a man in the alley. It's the security guard shooing away a homeless man and then finding this body hanging.
Yes.
Just barely off the ground. So creepy.
It was very creepy.
So creepy.
It reminded me of a scene in 12 Years a Slave where
I haven't seen that yet.
He's actually like
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
No, I mean there's just a part where like there's slaves got hung a lot.
Oh yeah.
So like that actually, like their toes were kind of there, so it kind of reminded me of that, and like you can just imagine a person like trying to stay up high enough so they're not choking to death.
That's like, crazy. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really gross, this episode, but it took a twist that I wasn't expecting.
Yes.
This whole episode.
It did.
But I just thought it was going to be one of those creepy castle episodes, when they're like, oh, we have, time travel, or we have this, or we have lookalikes. I didn't expect it to get so in-depth. For there to be intense. Yeah,
it's usually really kind of light of the time travel, etc. And you like those episodes, but I also like when they go to this place as well.
I love it.
And kind of have the balance of those fun episodes and something like this, because it reminds us that it is a cop show and stuff like this happens and they take it seriously. And so I like when they go to this place.
It's just funny because we have that opening scene and it's like, okay, wow. And then we go to Castle and Beckett, just in the house talking about honeymoons and weddings. And I think it's hysterical how he's been like everywhere but 3 places with his ex-wives.
And who wants the honeymoon in Finland?
No, I don't know. It could be nice to our viewers in Finland.
Sorry, Finland.
It's maybe nice in Finland.
Maybe. But I want to go to like the beach.
Yeah.
And I think he had all the beaches covered.
Well, she said, let's go someplace neither of us have been. Womp womp. Castle's been everywhere.
Basically, they just need a yacht and just go in the middle of the ocean.
That is a good idea.
Because I'm sure that, that might be one place that neither one has been. Let's just be in the middle of the Red Sea. I don't know if you can yacht in the Red Sea or not, but
I don't know. Go Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah.
But they haven't set an actual wedding date yet, so Castle thinks setting the honeymoon date in place will help set the actual date.
Which kind of makes sense.
That is a good idea.
Because if you don't know when you want to get married, then thinking about when you want a honeymoon, if you're going for the beaches, you're going to go for the summer dates, find a good deal on Expedia.com or something like that,
whichever one you like.
Yeah, whichever one you want. Get the off season, but right before, the
The hurricanes.
Yeah, the hurricanes and stuff. So it makes sense, but then he's been everywhere, so it's kind of like, well, I mean.
But you can't knock him. It was a previous life. He had other wives. I mean, he's like probably like, what, 50-ish? Is that where you think 40s? Castle is? I think he's close to 50.
I would say late 40s.
I'd say mid to late 40s.
I would say like pushing 50. Not by the way he looks, just by the fact that he's had that many wives. His daughter's like
in college,
like 20s.
Yeah.
I just think about kind of like my parents. Like when I was 20, my mom was 50.
Good point.
You know, I mean, if you have it in there.
Yeah, I just always assumed he started living life a little earlier.
Maybe.
And that's why he's had so much experience of life. In his short amount of time on this earth.
Yeah, well, that is true. We don't know. I mean, it's not like they're like, oh, this is his age. Yeah. Or actually, probably is somewhere online and somebody's going to correct me. But they don't say it on the show very
How old
often.
do you think Beckett? And so what's the age difference?
Nathan is 42. Well, Nathan Fillion's 42. He is handsome. He is so handsome. I felt bad this episode when she said that his face, what'd she say?
Has potential.
I was like, he is a good-looking man.
I laughed at that because Beckett had perfect face, and he's like, "What about mine?" And she's like, "It has potential."
I think she said like, "Your face is amazing, and yours has amazing potential."
I loved it.
Like, I think those may have been the words, but I was just like, "Do you know how many women around the world like Nathan Fillion fans are like, what?"
You can't say that about him.
Which is why it's just so great that they did it.
I know it was funny because you got to bring him down. Donna's 35, so I think. Maybe we're playing around those ages.
Yeah. I kind of feel like they're playing their ages here.
Yeah.
Because she would be a little bit younger. And
I like that.
He is a male gigolo. Well, not a real gigolo, but he's kind of like he was a man slut for a while.
Oh, he admits it. So, I mean, he's taking these women everywhere.
He's a famous novelist. He can do what he wants.
And she knew that. She knew he was like that. So
exactly.
It's not like, I don't think he is, he wouldn't be like a cheater. He's just, when he's single, He's single. He's a bachelor. I mean, live it up.
And by the way, New Zealand for a Middle Earth tour for your honeymoon would not be that bad.
No, I actually was like,
I was on board with that one.
Fun, right?
Like, that could be fun.
Like,
that
come
could
on,
be
Castle.
enjoyable.
I mean, Beckett.
Well, maybe she hasn't been. Well, she must have read it to know enough that it was filmed there or seen the movies, but. I think
she wants a beach, so we'll see where they end up going.
Well, you have to figure. For some reason, I always picture, like, Sex and the City when this stuff comes up. You know how when she marries Big, he's like, this is my third wedding. It's Castle's third wedding, or...
Yeah.
And Beckett, she's never had a wedding before. She's never really had this epic love story. So for her, she wants this to be what she's always dreamed of it to be. And I think she should have that.
Absolutely.
She should. Definitely.
Whatever she wants, she should have.
And if he's already been somewhere, he's making new memories with you in these places.
And you can do different things. It doesn't have to be the same.
Exactly.
Because experiences are always different depending on who you share them with. Mm-hmm. So, I like to shop with my mom and not my dad.
Well, I like how they have a little bit of a hint about the wedding and their relationship in every episode. So I just wanted to be taken a little bit further each time. It's always just like a line here and there. And I'm like, wait, I want more progress on this wedding.
I think maybe towards the end of the season we'll have the wedding.
I hope so.
Because they also usually do, like, in the beginning they have, like, the murder and then a little snippet of the family stuff, and then it's the case, and then they always wrap it up.
But they didn't
with
really.
More. They never went back to the honeymoon conversation.
Well,
it ended on.
It ended on a creepier note.
I was so weirded out with this ending.
I might have nightmares tonight.
I mean, it stayed true to form, where it's they're in the apartment, they're out of the apartment, then they close in the apartment.
True.
It was just a little bit.
Yeah, the conversation usually goes back to what they were talking about.
This one was a little
more. This one did not.
A little unsettling, to say the least. But the lead up to it, I mean, this was huge. This episode just had so many steps and so many parts. But the victim we find is Pam Hodges. And Lanie's a little shaken up because it's basically her doppelganger. Yeah. And, her body's kind of been put on display. Like, this murderer did it with intention. He didn't just want to kill her. He wanted to hurt her and kind of, prop her up there. Right. But apparently she's from Florida. She was a streetwalker, and she just moved. Did they say 7 months ago she just moved?
She moved to New York from Florida, and she cleaned up a little bit, and she got this new gig. And no one really could tell you what that new gig was, but she seemed to be doing a lot better than what she was doing in Florida.
Her uncle, I don't remember the exact quote. I'm trying to find it. She definitely took a step up. Yes. Or, she was definitely living a very different life than she had before. He said, she was happy. She looked great. She looks better than she ever has before. Did you not notice she has a completely different face?
Well, he did say, I almost didn't recognize her because when she walked in because she looked so good. I mean,
she originally looked like Lanie, but
similar, yes.
Yeah, very similar, but we do learn that she got cheek implants to look like even more like Lanie.
And to the uncle, he might, that picture we saw of her, a streetwalker, I'm sure she was into drugs and stuff too.
Right.
So, once you get cleaned up, your
put
face can,
different.
fill out a little bit more. So you probably didn't even realize that it was cosmetic surgery.
Yeah, and then through the uncle, we get led to her apartment, and it's like this amazing apartment with all these like
in New York, mind you.
Yeah.
This is not like the South where you can get like a massive place.
I know, right?
It's amazing. And they're like, who is paying for this apartment? So that was a big clue of like, who is behind this?
Right. If she was in Florida, I'd be like, okay, she's making some money. But when you're in New York City with this apartment and $20,000 worth of fur coats
outside or something too.
Girl, she was living well. Right. But the only thing that they found there, there's like, they sweep the place, no prints, there's nothing. They found a camera though.
There's a digital camera.
I thought we were going to have naked pictures. I really thought that's what it was going to be. And then it was just like tourist images. I was like, okay.
And it was like the most tourist of tourist images.
It was all planned, guys. Now that you know how it ends, you look back, it was all planned.
Yeah. I know, but it was
all
crazy.
planted.
But so we dig into her apartment and all those things, and it's being paid by this shell corporation called Greg's Baker, and it's out of Belize, and it's untraceable. So that's basically a dead end for us there. But we find out more about her with the cheek implants because they have serial numbers.
Serial numbers on every plastic
numbers
surgery.
On everything.
Leads it back to the doctor.
But that's nice.
And something in your cheeks, like that's crazy.
Yeah,
they put a serial number on everything now.
Because if anything has like a defect, you need to know who got that batch of cheeks.
Yeah, but it just sounds like so weird to think about. Like, it sounds like we're machines.
But they are.
You get like a hip implant, like the hip has a serial
numbers.
Because my dad got a hip implant and he had to get it replaced because it was uneven. It was like weird.
See,
and they traced
the serial number.
But it's true when you say they're like bionic people. Like my dad and my mom both have like replacements in their body. And I'm like, you have like metal things. Like when we go through airport security, it's like
they always beep.
We need a male assist over here because this guy's got a metal leg. It's like, but her cheek implants luckily did have serial numbers, and it leads us back to Dr. Neiman, who she just does not seem like a good lady.
She just rubbed me the wrong way.
I said this while we were watching it. To me, I felt like at any moment she was going to turn into a mutant from X-Men.
She
probably
did. Oh
a lizard of some sort.
Right?
Yes.
I was just scared that something like that was about to happen, and we were going to have an alien attack on Castle.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Castle writers.
Exactly.
So. I wouldn't put it past Castle, the character. The writers are usually more on this earth.
They throw some curveballs out there.
I've never seen a human transform into a lizard.
It wouldn't be real.
But when you looked
in his
at her,
mind, he would be like, "Oh my God, she transformed."
Yeah, when you looked at her, especially when later on when they called her in and she was like toying with Beckett, I was just like so scared that at any moment she was going to stick out her tongue and be like, "Oh, an attack."
Yeah. Well, we find out, before we go to Dr. Neiman's, we find out that she's the doctor. But Lanie finds this tattoo and all of these things that are kind of insane. Did you notice though when Beckett was kind of breaking it down for Ryan and Esposito, she was telling them and Esposito got really defensive and he got like angry. Yeah. And I was like, he's protecting her.
I love when we first roll up to the original scene of Pam and I see Lanie and Espo. I even said to you, I was like, oh look, they're like talking over in the corner. I feel like they're getting cozy. He was just comforting her because the victim looked exactly like her. But I love them together, and I love that he, like, came to her.
Yeah. I also like that she gives her statement to Esposito in private. And he says, I know we're not exclusive. So this lets us know, though, that they've been on the down low seeing each other.
Something's happening still.
As much as we haven't seen it, we've been wanting to. I feel like people have been really asking for this.
I feel like everyone loves it.
I loved them together the first time around, so I'm excited to know things were there. Mm-hmm. I think this episode is going to catapult them further.
I hope so. Yeah.
Because he got defensive and protective of her. Mm-hmm. And when he says, who else have you been with? And she says, no one. I haven't been with anybody.
And he's like, no, you could tell me. And she's like, no.
Except for that one night where she got drugged.
That's true.
I really hope nothing. I don't think anything sexual happened just by the way she said it. But if I was drugged and woke up like, oh, I'd be like, I'm a medical examiner. Let's check this out.
I need to find out what happened to me. Yeah, she kind of just glazed over that.
How did that not come up?
I don't know.
I mean, you're concerned because, you're like, oh, yeah, a couple months ago I had a weird night out. That's how she phrased it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a weird night out. You woke up with no recollection of how you got home and you only had 2 drinks. Yeah. And you should have told someone hey.
Maybe Beckett, your best friend, who is an amazing detective.
Yeah.
It's kind of figure this out.
It's just weird, especially when you have a 2-drink minimum that you always abide by. Yeah. It's strange.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's weird that they never came back to that throughout the case.
No, it was never
brought back.
It was just kind of the explanation for maybe why they knew she had that tattoo, because I think the tattoo was relatively new.
He said 3 months, yeah.
Esposito was the only one that would have seen it. Mm-hmm. He obviously didn't tell anyone.
I was just thinking they could have got security footage from the club to see who she might have left with or something. Like they never they brought it up and then never used it for the case to get leads on who could have got the information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was definitely really strange, and from there we really didn't go anywhere with that storyline other than that. Oh, that makes sense.
That's
and when we're at Dr. Neiman's, we found out that's the pictures she was using, like pictures from a club and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and she claimed it was her friend. It's just very creepy to me. I would feel so. I would feel like my privacy had been invaded.
Super violated.
Yeah, it's just insane. But while that's happening, Castle and Beckett are at the Dr. Neiman's office, and is her name Tori, the tech girl?
Yes, we found that out.
Yes,
last episode.
She finds a picture of her at Marina.
Yep, somewhere on a deleted part of the drive. There's a photo.
It's like the internet, you can delete things, but they're still there.
It's always in the cloud.
Trace it back.
Yeah,
always in the cloud.
But so while they're talking to Dr. Neiman, about the pictures and about all of this stuff, we find out about this boat.
Yes.
Which is from Florida, obviously. Why is everything from Florida?
2 other murders happened in Florida.
Very similar
just
murders.
Like this. So everything kind of
we also didn't really hear about those murders after that. You know what I mean? We didn't, as things progressed and we were talking about 3XK and all those things, it wasn't like, why would he commit murders in Florida?
Yeah. I don't know kind of where
that part went.
Yeah.
Right.
But the boat belongs to Rudy Hollings.
He's in Spain.
He
didn't do it.
He's been in Spain for a year, but what if he's not who we think he is?
I mean, possible.
That's possible, but, Daniel Santos is still dead on his boat, so...
So they find Esposito's lookalike dead on the yacht, which is very freaky.
And he is a stripper.
Is he
from Georgia?
Oh, he wasn't from Florida.
From Georgia. But I think it's interesting that she was a streetwalker. He was a stripper, obviously looking to have better careers or different,
right,
forms of money coming in.
They wanted to make recently moved to New
very
York.
Recently. He'd been there, I think, 3 months. Like, very little time. Which I'm surprised. I was under the impression from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that it takes longer for the swelling to go down with the facial surgeries,
You would think.
It takes a couple months.
I mean,
Kathy, comedian Kathy. Why can't
Kathy Griffin?
I wanted to call her Kathy Lee Gifford, but no, Kathy Griffin.
The redhead.
Yeah, when she did her reality show, she had the surgery, and you saw all the pain in the black eyes and bruises.
It takes a while.
It was 3 months of recovery for her.
Well, that's why it's strange. But Dr. Neiman must be a
she is
miracle
an amazing
worker.
Plastic surgeon.
She's a crazy woman, but she is a great
crazy
plastic
lizard
surgeon.
woman.
Crazy lizard plastic surgeon. But so we're kind of tracing their steps. So Daniel had this latte date with Ian Fuller, who was a dialect coach, basically teaching him to talk like Esposito,
which is very creepy. And you find out why. But
as it's happening, it was strange.
You're like, why is he? He's from the South? Does he want to lose his accent? He's like, no, he wanted to sound completely different. And you're like, well, that's weird. How does that play into this?
I was very interested. I still hadn't put together that there was a bigger thing here.
Neither did I.
We were trying to.
I was like, I still don't know who could be a possible suspect right now.
Because even at this point, I had turned and said, hey, the only people we've met so far are Dr. Neiman and the guy who found the body
and the uncle
and the
uncle. And I was like, I don't think it's the uncle. The doctor, she's creepy and all, but what's her motive for it?
Right.
And I was like, and the doctor, he found the body, so clearly that's not the murderer either.
Well,
We find something out later.
Yeah. But, it was just all very strange. And we go to Santos's apartment, and there's this woman there saying that he was picked up by a limo, which brought him to Dr. Neiman's, bringing it full circle.
And apparently Dr. Neiman's and Daniel Santos had a sexual relationship, and that's kind of where it ended. He left her apartment at 10 p.m., and then we pick up on some video footage from a traffic cam of him actually leaving her apartment, so she was not lying, getting into a car that has a marina sticker on the back.
And so, we follow that Coral Marina. That's the marina they were at. And we find out that it's the security guard. Carl Matthews is his name. But he has no record. He was working in the beach area in Florida. Then went off the map. Then got this job. He's back. Then he quit his job, and now he's on the land, basically.
It's just weird because he discovered Pam Hodges' body.
We saw that. So it was very clear that he didn't kill them.
Yeah.
But did he?
I don't know. It's very unclear.
He confesses to it. He says,
I'm going to confess
I can
my
recount
murder.
each murder vividly. I remember everything that happened.
And the tapping on the table. Well,
before we even got there, Castle says, I don't think he did it. Mm-hmm. And Castle's like, he's not that smart. I mean, he has no record. I mean, he has to be working with someone.
And where to get the money to
put Pam up in this apartment, and paying for the surgery. Exactly.
And Castle thinks of 3XK, which is Jerry. How do you say his Tyson? Tyson. And we come to find out, Beckett's all like, "Oh, you're just being paranoid. You've always blamed yourself because he got away." Da 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 da. Yeah. But Castle never thought he was dead after he fell off that bridge. The way Castle thinks, he's like, no, he didn't die. And I didn't think he died either, because it was too easy. Mm-hmm. Too easy, and they left it open-ended for a reason.
And now he's back.
Because if you don't have a body, then that means nothing. And there's no reason that body shouldn't have been able to be found the next day.
Right. Or recovered eventually.
Yeah,
It's been, I would say, about a year.
Mm-hmm.
A year. Guy in Spain for a year.
This is
boat.
Okay, Tiona.
We're putting the pieces together.
Tyson owns the boat, according to Tiona. But I was kind of thinking, he's going outside the lines. But the second he said 3XK, I was kind of, the wheels were turning. And I was like, that could make sense. It makes
kind of sense. And so they want to go find the 3XK files in evidence lockup.
Gone.
And they are all gone.
3 days ago, Esposito signs them out. I think it's crazy how Beckett and Castle are like, Espo, why'd you sign those out?
He's like, no, I didn't. And they're like, it says you did 3 days ago.
Hey, we also just found a guy who looks exactly like him.
And talks like you.
And talks like him.
And
we found someone else who looks just like Lanie. Gee, let's
then
think
the
about
fake
this.
Lanie also checked out all the tests and
DNA, lab work, all of those things.
So basically every piece of evidence linking back to Jerry Tyson is missing, except possibly his prison records,
which we do get at the end of the episode. But so we find Matthews at the motel that 3XK was put up when they had him, in the same room
that he escaped prison.
And Castle is the one who captures him.
I even said, I go, whenever Kate says, Castle, wait here, he always they always sneak out the back.
Yeah.
And Castle's there with no gun.
Like,
well, maybe I'll just tackle him.
And he's got his new Ryder bullet vest.
The new one.
Which I'm sure he put more padding in after he actually got shot.
No more
he's
bullet holes.
A little bit more. But they find him, and, he says all these creepy details about this murder.
Very
and I'm just
creepy.
like, he's like, their feet were scraping the ground, and I'll go to jail, but I'll be in my mind the whole time.
It was very weird.
And
they asked him about Jerry Tyson, and he's like, well, I'm an admirer of his work. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if he's just, being a copycat or just,
Maybe he is. Do we think he killed them? Do you think he killed them?
I think he killed him, but in connection, it all connects to Jerry Tyson.
I think
he killed them.
You do think he killed them, though? You think he committed the
actual
murders?
The master plan of Tyson, though.
I agree with that. I think no matter what the case, I think Tyson was the one. But you do think Matthews was the one who actually committed the murders?
I think that him and Dr. Neiman committed that.
So why do we think we saw that first scene where it looks like he's truly shocked?
I think it was meant to throw us off the audience.
Which it worked.
Thank you.
Which I think is cheating, because
we're trying to figure this out here, and we're like, no,
because I immediately X'd him out because he found the bodies and he was so shocked by it.
Now we can never be fooled twice. So the person that finds the body always on the suspect list.
You know what's creepy to me with things like the internet and stuff like that? I bet he could have been a fan of Tyson's work. He could have really been interested, and maybe he wrote about it or commented on something about it online, and that's how Tyson kind of found him and made him his little puppet.
Absolutely.
Because he does, you're right, he says, I'm going to confess to my kills. I'll confess to those. He's like, I need a good pen and a couple pads of paper.
It was really weird.
That was really weird.
I was like,
and
I
he's
don't
like,
want to read that.
Yeah.
No.
Poor person who has to read that and like file it and type it up, like log it for the police. No, thank you.
Bad
but
job.
Castle still thinks 3XK is alive. Beckett is believing it now, but she brings it to Captain Gates, and she says that's embarrassing. So unless we know that he's alive, we shouldn't say anything because
it's also embarrassing that our security was breached
by impersonators.
Exactly.
By impersonators. So now they're gonna start having. Well, this is just my guess. You're going to need a thumbprint to access files along with your...
Yeah, but we know 3XK knows how to make fake thumbprints.
That's true, because he planted Castle's fingerprints
in there, too, so...
I mean, you can't get past this guy.
I mean,
he's always a step ahead.
What about, you seen those movies that can do those, like, contacts?
Yeah.
Mission Impossible?
Yeah, contacts.
Gotta get that right.
But, apparently, then we get the prison files.
Yes, we do.
Ryan tracks them down, and when... Jerry Tyson was kind of roughed up in jail. He went to the infirmary, and the doctor there was Dr. Kelly Neiman.
Dr. Kelly Neiman. That was her first and last day on the job. Wonder why.
I love it.
So they're working together.
Sight?
I don't think so. I was thrown off by that. I didn't see that coming.
I go, they love each other.
They love each other.
Kelly and Tyson.
Well, she's gone now.
Yeah, they went to her office. It's gone.
Everything's gone. But they still have to like clear it out, make sure everything's out. And Castle finds a pen and a little note that says "better luck next time" or something along those lines.
And there was like a few minutes left in the episode, and I'm like, what? Like, how is this wrapping up? What's happening? There's not time.
I was waiting for it to be a to be continued. I was like,
me too.
I was like, this has to be a two-parter because if they're bringing back 3XK, they have to make it in a big way where it gets wrapped up next week or something. But yeah, I didn't see this coming. But I thought it was so great that it was the pin that she left back because she really pushed for the pins the first meeting that they had. She was like, since I'm a selfless self-promoter, would you like a pin? And they were like,
no.
Castle almost grabbed one. Becca was like, no. Sorry.
I am confused though. Going through that, you would think they would take that as evidence and like have it back at the precinct.
You would think.
Castle has it at the house and he's playing with it, and it is a flash drive.
You pop up the top and there is a USB.
And so you put it into the computer and it plays this song. We don't know any of this. None of us know this song, but it just says we'll meet again. Over and over basically. So, and the look of horror on their faces.
Seen Beckett look so scared in my life.
That's like terrifying.
Tears in her eyes, and I'm just like, what is happening? What does this mean? And it's just like Tyson is just
so what do you guys think?
Messing with their mind.
I don't think we're going to see him next week, but I think he's going to play a role in the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah. The teaser for next week didn't really show anything continuing this kind of storyline, but he'll be back definitely this season.
So yeah, I think this was their way of opening the door to the fact that he may still be around, because we left it hanging last season and now we open the door. I don't know if we'll see him anytime soon, even after the break, but I think this maybe finale kind of stuff
might pop up again.
Cliffhanger finales, he'd be a big way to do it.
Did they really explain the connection between Carl and Dr. Neiman?
No.
Like how they started working
I think
together?
it's
I just feel like they left a lot of things unanswered.
I feel like they always do. Like at the end, it's like, whoo!
Yeah, and
now killer.
And now I'm just like, I'm so confused, like why they are working together.
I think they worked together because they were both working with Tyson.
I agree.
Okay.
I think it's a big scheme.
I think she is in love with Tyson, then Tyson knew he could manipulate Carl, so it's just all his master plan.
I agree. Yeah, and he can manipulate
easily.
Neiman.
He is a serial killer.
He's a crazy man who hated his mother, so therefore he kills everybody.
Yes.
Poor guy. I mean, I feel for him sometimes. The idea of his pain, but not his actions. But man, this episode was insane.
Intense.
It was really
intense.
good.
I really liked it. I felt like there was a lot of substance, and this is one of those episodes where it draws in past season. It draws in all these emotions, and every character was really engaged, and I liked that a lot.
And it got us Lanie and Esposito.
I want more Lanie and Espo.
Well, I think we're going to get it now.
I hope so.
Well, next week we have some fun stuff going on, but let's get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
We see a baby. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
It looks like Beckett and Castle are gonna try and play mom and dad for a little bit. So
I don't think it's gonna go very smoothly.
No, but I think that it will be a great test of their relationship and get them talking about, you know, the possibility if Castle wants more kids.
Didn't the time travel episode say how many?
So
Three
But
kids.
we don't know if that included
Alexis.
Yeah,
so
Alexis
possibly.
And this man was actually a legitimate crazy person. So
I liked him though. I take
know.
it
I think
seriously.
he was from the future. I think he knew what he was talking about.
You also think Dr. Neiman's a lizard. So
wouldn't it be cool, guys, if I'm going back to this 3XK, like who is he? So if his girlfriend's a plastic surgeon and has altered the way he looks, what if the male nurse that we met at the beginning of it,
like maybe
him,
he's
like,
been showing up in scenes and we just don't know because he doesn't really look like Tyson anymore?
What if he's Sully?
What if he's Sully and that's why he disappeared all of a sudden?
Oh my god, that'd be a
No, that's true. I mean, we never knew before that there was this plastic surgeon, so
and
could
that's
be somebody
what's
else.
so creepy about this episode is that people actually do this. People take pictures into a plastic surgeon, and there's these documentary TV shows all the time about people who take celebrities' pictures in and come out to look like
thousands of dollars.
Celebrities and stuff. And you know, I'm not
or
saying
like Barbie, those girls who want to be Barbie.
Exactly.
It's insane.
It's insane. So the fact that this is actually happening and someone could be out there right now. I mean, how many times have we been out and, you know, talking or like taking pictures with people and stuff, and then they have your picture on file, and then they could take it in and be like, oh, I want to look like her.
Which is even doing something like AfterBuzz. You guys could take our faces right off this.
And you have my voice right now too.
Oh my god, so you could sound like me too.
Yeah, isn't that scary? The fact
I don't have any power though. With my face and my my voice, you're not gonna get like super secret files out of anywhere.
You're not gonna get far with any of us. You know, we don't want to put any ideas in your head. But it is creepy, and I like that about Castles. As over the top as that idea is, that's a legitimate thing that could happen.
Definitely.
Yes. I wonder if it has. I wonder if they
That's the thing. Maybe he's popped up already and we just don't know what he looks like.
But what if something like this has happened in real life? Like, what if somebody really has done this and it's like a legitimate case that happened?
Oh, so Castle is now like Law and Order? How
they take their
like,
storylines from the news.
I mean, yeah. That's my idea behind that question. But wouldn't that be strange?
It would be.
I don't know, guys, but keep the conversation going. Make sure you check us out on iTunes. Like us, rate us, comment, tell us what you're thinking. We only have a couple more episodes left before the hiatus, so it's getting good. I mean, we're really heating things up here on episode 9, so make sure you keep the conversation going there. Also on Twitter, you can tweet AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV, and you can tweet myself at Paige Sullivan.
You can tweet me or find me on Instagram at the Tiona-Hudson.
And you can find me on Twitter at Aquillano.
Oh, sorry. One more thing. Today is Susan Sullivan's birthday.
Oh,
who
happy
plays
birthday.
Castle's mom. So
Martha.
happy birthday to Martha.
So Castle fans, stay in touch with us throughout the week, and we will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.